Yeah, you know what? I was on my walk. I can normally do this. I thought, you know what? Screw it. Why not? Why not? Why not today have an extra good morning walk? Why not? you know. Um, I think it's primarily because of the weather. I think when you've got really nice sort of weather, I think it's sort of really good to get these to go out and do these live streams. And I like hanging out with you guys live, and I like walking and talking. It's really good actually. So so you know what, I'm doing it today because why not. Good morning to you, Piddles. Good morning to you. Like I say, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Like I say, the weather today, absolutely cracking yesterday. What's that? Nico de Smith, hey there, good morning. Good morning back to you. Helen, good morning to you. Like I say, yeah, the weather yesterday, incredible. It's going to be even more warmer today. In fact, I think they're saying Monday and Tuesday are going to be absolutely baking. But yeah, that's global warming for you, I suppose. Wonderful weather here too. Excellent. Cavaland, good morning to you. Like I said, I would say I made the decision yesterday. I finally need to invest in sort of a steady cam. Because I've talked about it before. Normally I'm just literally holding you as I am with a camera. Well, not with but with my phone in hand. So I'm probably going to make the investment soon and get a proper steady cam up and going. So hopefully, I can sort of lower the motion sickness maybe. So that'll be quite fun. And certainly my arms won't be as tired as they normally are when I'm walking, just able to sort of hold it more normally. So I suppose that'll be quite fun. Like I say, if you are on my Patreon or you're a member of the Pony Club on YouTube, I will sort of show it off pre-hand to you all, so you can see what I'm doing. So yeah, yes, hopefully as well an update on the old YouTube update, the old logo revamp. That is coming soon, hopefully. Might be this week, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think there's just a couple bit of extra pieces that's just waiting on being finished. But other than that, that's it. So that should happen very soon. So of course, if you are a member of the Pony Club, you've got new emojis to look forward to. You'll be getting new badges. You'll be getting all sorts of cool stuff there on YouTube. So look out for that. And like I say, I will let you know when that happens. But yes, good morning to morning. Who've we missed? Who's come in? Pretty Bird, greetings to you. Cthulhonic, ahoy there. Cthulhonic, boy, these videos are playing havoc with your sleeping patterns. Well, I know you're Canadian, so although I don't know where exactly you are in Canada, but it could be morning, it could be midnight, who knows where it could be for you, Cthulhonic. But yeah, they probably are. So sorry about that. Stephen S, hola from Spain. Nico de Smith, get a drone. Oh, thought about it, but honestly, I did a lot of stuff very, very early on when drones first started coming out. And honestly, the noise that a drone would make, you'd never be able to hear me. Plus, I don't think the drone would be able to last that long. Also, it might disturb the ponies a bit, so we might not be able to see the ponies if we ever did that. So there is that, obviously, the consequence on that. Because Bit doing okay. Jeff Hunt, good morning to you. WCB time, so it's 8 hours difference. So it's 12:49 a.m. Over for you, Sonic. Bakura, hello. Did you hear the online harms bill has thankfully been kicked in the long grass? Yes. Yes, I did hear about that, and it happened because of the most hilarious way. For those of you who don't know, there's been a sort of a bill, and to be honest, I'm sort of very much 50-50 on it, because yes, the bill itself has a lot of definite free speech issues in it, but on the other hand, there is a lot of stuff around, you know, basically trying to get, you know, these social media companies to take more responsibility, at least more than they would normally do, in certain to sort of help prevent, you know, a ton of stuff from sort of, you know, grooming, you know, extremism, a lot of stuff that it would have helped sort of social media companies to take more responsibility for, in you know, in more an active role in helping to prevent. So yeah, while it has died, it is something that we should probably be pushing for, you know, these social media companies to be taking a more active role rather than essentially what they do now, which I'm sure we all agree is just sit and watch it happen. So, but it was killed probably in the most hilarious way of all. Very much so. It's sort of, if you remember being at school and it was sort of like the last week at school, and it was like the teachers would like try to get you to do work, but you were like, why should we do work when it's going to be, you know, when it's like the last week of school. At the moment, that seems how things seem to be going, and it's not just the online harms bill. You've had Dominic Raab not turn up to a meeting about his English Bill of Rights. You've had Priti Patel also not turn up to a meeting, which has basically meant that that particular functionary board cannot work, it cannot function. And I think that's partly because they know they may very well not be in cabinet soon, or at least in a position to continue with that. So they're like, why bother? So we'll have to see what else goes, but I do sort of agree that that is really, really bad. In fact, it's even affected Cobra meetings. There's a Cobra meeting about obviously the extreme heat that's happening. I mean, bear in mind, there's a lot of people not taking this, you know, extreme weather warning very seriously. And I think it was in Portugal, or it might have been even Spain, where you've just had sort of that extreme heat weather warning. And you've had, what, 400 people die because of like the extreme heat. And yet Boris Johnson, again, still technically Prime Minister, hasn't even turned up to the cabinet meetings to talk about it, because he's having a party at Chequers this weekend. So yeah, that's the state our government is currently in. Yeah, Boris Johnson well and truly given up at this point on being Prime Minister. Hang on, let's just go back a bit. Oh, Princey Paul, good morning to you. Ben Riding's mornings. Does he not attend those meetings for fear of being staffed by actual Cobras? Who knows? Maybe. It's probably Nadine Dorris doesn't. You know, why are we having a meeting about Cobras? Nadine Dorris asks unsarcastically. Nicholas Smith, would it kill off the Tories' client journalism? Not really so much, but I'm not too sure about that. No, I hate the bill. It would also kill inscription. Yes, with the WhatsApp stuff and stuff like that. And yeah, I sort of agree with you on that. You know, you do need sort of that, you know, inscription sort of privacy stuff around sort of WhatsApp. And of course there are, you know, national security concerns, but even then, you know, the government organizations do have a way to access these, you know, stuff. Of course they would do. So, you know, nothing is impenetrable, nothing is sort of can be hidden. But yeah, I sort of do agree with you on that as well, Bakura. Michael Mayo, good morning from a very windy Jutland in Denmark. Good morning to you. You're angry that you haven't been invited to Bozo's party. I'm angry I haven't been invited. You know, where's my invite as well? Yeah, the online harm bills would also affect big sites, would also affect the small ones, so they wouldn't be able to exist. Yeah, like I say, it was a very bad bill. I sort of applaud the aims of it, but you are right. There was a lot of stuff that was in there that was, well, really bad. Standard for Bozo, no action. Oh, David, good morning to you. David, ready to float with Pennywise. I do not think Penny Mordaunt's going to make it to the final two. I think once Kemi Badenoch drops out of the race, or should we say gets voted out, it's very highly likely that all those votes will then just go to Liz Truss, and then Liz Truss will, at least from what we can see, knock out Penny from number two. Get a Sunday stroll. JC Hunt, I see Doris is off to the Lords. Stokes services to Tony. God, I hope not. I really hope not. But that's, again, something that we should really focus on. And, you know, I've said it in the past before. I really do not like the House of Lords. I'm sort of glad that we've had it, certainly through all this Brexit nonsense, because, well, it was the only place where Brexit was actually being discussed in any sort of adult way. But with Boris's plan, I think he wants to put about 10 or so more Lords into the House of Lords. And it would effectively mean that the UK now has, per square mile, I think, I'm just trying to remember what the stat was now, we've got more legislature per square mile than China has. I mean, you're already over 800 Lords. I mean, the House of Lords reform is desperately there, and it could be such an easy win, especially for the PR campaign. And, you know, I am all for going after sort of changing the rules on, you know, in the House of Commons. But the House of Lords does really need to be seen to, because I've said it before, we need to turn it into sort of a house of like regional representation. Again, put it in by PR, and that would fundamentally change our politics. And I think it's definitely something the PR campaign needs to focus on, because it's such an easy win. Not only is it sort of a big issue when it gets brought up, you know, from time to time, it's also really popular to be reformed on the right wing as well. So we could take a massive victory and sort of win on that, and especially take the lead in sort of, you know, forming and doing the stuff on that. So that's really important to do, and something I'd like to see the sort of the PR campaign sort of make more of an effort on, to focus on sort of reforming the House of Lords as well. Oh, Edgy Intellect coming to you. I dressed, yeah, they did actually. They did actually, Philip. They did. If you've seen the debate on Friday, they dressed Truss up to look exactly like Thatcher, which, to begin with, when I saw sort of the stories, I thought, no, she hasn't, has she? But no, if you've seen the pictures next to, I think Thatcher made a speech in like 1983 or something like that, and she looks exactly like the spitting image of Thatcher, and it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, what is she doing? Yeah, Truss spoke like a robot the other day. Yeah, she did. In fact, it just wasn't Truss. It was the entire lot of them very much spoke. I think the only one that maybe had a moment of humanity, I think, was Tom Tugendhat, where he had a joke with the person who was in the NHS, and you got a bit of a laugh. But other than that, that was it. And obviously, we've got the second debate tonight. That might be quite fun. Again, I don't know if we can do it live or not, because I think there's still issues around sort of watching it live with copyright. Although we could watch it, I could do a stream, but I wouldn't be able to sort of show you the stream of it live, sort of. Again, it's not. It might just be me just sitting watching and every so often just shouting. So it's not really that interesting. But don't worry. On Monday we'll. Well, certainly on Monday. Obviously, we've got another vote. I'm highly expecting, to be honest, Tom Tugendhat to get eliminated. He's not got the votes, and in sort of the way that it's being done, of like, you know, lowest number of votes drops out. Given the current trajectory, I am expecting Tugendhat to drop out. However, there is, of course, the what's been known as the Nick Clegg effect, which I'm sure he's very happy about. You know, having something like that called after him. So for those of you who don't know, way back in, what was it, 20 can't exactly remember, 2012 was it? No, anyway, I can't remember. But yeah, back when we sort of first had our live debate for, like, you know, Prime Minister, Nick Clegg had his big grand moment on television, and Nick Clegg had a massive surge in support and popularity. It seems that yesterday, according to the quick straw polls, Tom Tugendhat has had a massive surge in support from the Tory leadership. Like I say, we're gonna have to see how tomorrow's debate goes, and then of course we'll have another vote tomorrow afternoon, so we'll find out who drops out. I am expecting it to be Tom Tugendhat, unless, like I say, these poll numbers drastically change, or he puts in an absolutely, you know, stellar appearance tomorrow, well, at least today on in the debate, and then maybe he'll be able to pull some MPs over to his side, because that's what he needs desperately to do at the moment. Like I say, Truss, Badenoch and Morden, all collectively not to known have done quite well. So we'll have to see how many desert those ships. Oh. Oh, morning.
Morning.
Nearly had a dog. Nearly had a dog company then. But yeah, it's the race is definitely shaping up to be a very, very much a Truss Sunak final two. And as I've said, unfortunately, if Truss gets to the final two, unless something drastic happens, she's got a very good chance of winning. And then, as we discussed yesterday, at that point, the ERG will truly take control of the ship at that point, of the Tory party and the direction of the government, and will turn it even more hard right than we've seen before. So it'd be interesting to see what questions get asked tonight. Interestingly enough, this morning, Lord Ashcroft, a Tory lord, and very much, well, he was the chairperson of COP26. So yeah, Sunak will pay off Truss. Probably not. Probably not. But you have sort of, we talked about, I think it was, we talked about yesterday as well. In fact, we talked about a couple of weeks ago, in fact, when all these sort of first candidates were brought up. The Green Tories, I know, came out heavily in support of, okay, we need to, you know, recommit to net zero. We need to make sure these candidates are committing to sort of the green policies, because it makes an absolute fool of the UK, where all these Brexiteers were saying, look how great global Britain is going to be. We're going to have, you know, COP26 is going to be this massive global summit. Look how well the UK can punch well above its weight. And it got all these guarantees and secures for COP26, and all the pledges to sort of reduce it. And that the country that hosted COP26 just goes fully on and then breaks their own promise on that. Well, David, good morning all. So, yes, certainly it could be proving to be, I think, a very, very interesting reaction for this, because I've had a couple of, I don't know if there are any watching at the moment, but I've had a couple of Australians comment recently. Morning. We had a couple of Australians comment very recently on a couple of my videos, and a lot of them have commented on the fact that, you know, you look at Australia, their recent election, and it was the fact that their Conservatives had dropped their like environmental policies was attributed so much to the fact that so many people, you know, switched off them and went into, you know, and booted them out of power. And that was what Lord Ashcroft today has reiterated today, that look, you know, if you ask people about what their concerns, the environment is very much the second, almost directly after the NHS. So it is sort of electorally suicide, essentially, not to pursue a good environmental policy. I see discussions about the Orville and Star Trek are breaking out in the chat. Don't make me do it. I will do it. I will start talking about Star Trek. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. But also, the other one that I sort of see, the other comment that I was quite interested in, I can't remember who did it, who made it. I'm sure I've seen them in the chat today. No ponies today. Probably not. I think it might have been a bit too hot for them yesterday, so they might have been moved out of the field just temporarily, maybe because of the heat. Looks like the cows have been moved out of the field as well, so it doesn't look like we're getting any ponies today. But yeah, what was interesting about their comment was that they said they seemed to sort of recognise the chaos that was happening in their Conservative Party, and that chaos happened for about a decade before there finally seemed to be sort of a simmer down. And I do sort of agree, that seems to be where the current Conservative Party seems to be heading, which, don't get me wrong, is highly, highly funny, and something that we are going to certainly be should be highly amused at. Will be the sort of demise of the Tory party. So, because we talked about it before, they're so ideologically split. And one of the things Labour should actually start attacking, discussion about Strange New World now in the chat. Haven't watched it yet. I really need to. Yeah, dude, be ready for tomorrow. Watch TV news yesterday, Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, 40 degrees. Drink cold water. I don't have a pool. So, yeah, the Tory party is just going to implode on itself. And I'm surprised. I'm still very, very much surprised that one of the things that Labour should attack is not the Tory party itself, but start paying attention to like the ERG. Start like hammering the ERG. Start actually calling them, you know, the party within the party. Start saying to Liz Truss, oh, maybe, you know, it shouldn't be you at the dispatch box. Maybe it should be, you know, whoever's the current head of the ERG. I think is it Steve Baker or is it someone else now? God, I can't remember. I've lost track. It's not Mark Francois, I know that. Although he was for a point. Yeah, and really just start calling out the fact that there is this party within the party that has forced so much stuff through, this minority group of sort of MPs that have forced the party to do so much crazy stuff. Morning.
Thank you. Morning.
Nearly then. Do you think the Tories' advice would be the public about the heat will be just go to the swimming pool? Probably, Victoria. I wouldn't be surprised. BHM, any idea how long the Conservatives will remain in this ERG avatar for years even? Well, put it this way. The ERG came into existence in sort of 1993. Oh, Newcomen, good morning. Good morning from Finland. Cooler than normal, try to survive. So I think this will be the interesting time. This is the make or break time for the ERG, because if they get Truss in, and Truss is their sort of woman to put at the head of the ship, and she will ultimately appoint certainly not only ERG members to key cabinet positions, but she will also certainly bring in more, shall we say, special advisors from Tufton Strait. You know, the right-wing libertarian think tanks that we see, certainly very, very much influencing pretty much most of the Tory candidates. So that will be certainly one thing that we will see if Truss gets in. And then, as we've said, Brexit is going to fail. It is pretty much built in, because you do not leave, you know, your closest market and throw up trade barriers and then start saying, oh yes, we'll start trading with the rest of the world. Well, that's not how trade, and certainly international trade, works. And you are right. Yeah, Truss will give positions to the worst. Trust me, if you thought Boris's cabinet was bad, Liz Truss's is going to be even worse. It is going to be so much worse. Trust me, if we've talked about, and we've called them on here before, the fact that they're sort of free market fundamentalists. Yeah, you're going to see them in play. Yeah. In fact, Penny Mordaunt on the leadership debate, again, this is what they need to be called out on now. Like, oh yeah, you said Brexit benefits. What are these Brexit benefits? And then obviously they start their dialogue tree, and of course, then they get asked about these Brexit benefits. Oh, thank you very much, Mark. Wikipedia still shows Mark Francois as chair of the ERG. Deputy chair, Charis Davis and Andrea Jenkins. Well, you can. In your opinion, who would be the, quote, best, e.g. least bad option for the Tory Prime Minister? Well, Tom Tugendhat, certainly that. He would certainly slow down, and at least in some cases maybe even reverse some of the stuff, this far-right crazy slide that the Tory party's gone on. But odds are he loses the vote on Monday. he's definitely going to lose the vote on Monday, unless Tory MPs were sort of very impressed with his sort of debate performance, certainly on Friday and certainly today. We'll see. So far, the opinion polls that came out, the snap polls from the Tory membership watching, did say that Tugendhat did the best out of all of them. So maybe if he can put in like literally the performance of his life, because that's what he's going to have to do today, maybe he might be able to survive, but I doubt it. Badenoch has had a really bad showing so far in that debate. So we'll see if she loses any MPs, of course, on Monday. But ultimately, she will lose, certainly in the forthcoming voting. And I think once that happens, all her votes will then go to Liz Truss. That will then push Mordaunt certainly out of the second spot, and probably lead to the Sunak-Truss showdown. And then, of course, as we said before, the Tory party, or at least the Tory non-parliamentary members of the Tory party, don't want Sunak, and ultimately will vote for Truss. And then, yeah, that will be fun. And again, we'll have to see how Mordaunt certainly performs. But Sunak is definitely in the final two. I think it's just going to be a race between certainly Mordaunt and Truss to see who can get into that second spot. But I think the odds on are that it's going to be probably Liz Truss. I mean, we know Braverman's joined her cause. She's now backing her, so she's probably got all Braverman's support. Once Badenoch sort of drops out, that will then be sort of the right wing of the party, certainly united. Then you might even see more of the party maybe jump from Mordaunt to Truss. It's possible, but there you go. Certainly, she's been taking a very big hammering. She's been attacked a lot in the Daily Mail very recently. So just goes to show you that sort of the powers that be in the newspaper world don't want Mordaunt. They want Truss. Yeah, nice to hear there's at least a little small glimmer of hope before this coming shitstorm. Yeah. And trust me, even then, Mordaunt is just as bad as Truss, if not worse. This is the crazy thing. I think that the ERG don't want her because obviously she's not currently she has been a member of the ERG, but she's currently the leader of the One Nation Conservative group. Again, another ERG spin-off faction that's been created, and she's the leader of that. And I think they see her as certainly the opposition that they have to beat if they want control over the Conservative Party. So it is really a battle for the direction of the Tory party. Oh, FSM, good morning to you. Oh, Sparkfly, good morning to you. I didn't see you come in there. David Jones, oh no, Trussy. They wanted someone less competent. Yeah. I think it's more they want someone more easier to control. Someone who will put in, ministers that they want to do. I think that's the danger we've got to look at. Because if they start putting in more people from the ERG, there'll ultimately be a lot more of these, free market fundamentalist wackos who will start to really push their agenda. Cavanland. If Truss wins somehow, she disagrees with doing something the ERG want her to do. I can imagine them saying, remember, we got into number 10. Yeah, exactly. This is why I've said there is going to be so much bitterness in the Tory party. And trust me, Boris Johnson is going to whip up that bitterness beyond no shadow of a doubt. That's why you saw in that first debate where they were all asked, is Boris Johnson an honest man? That was basically to try and secure the votes of the Johnson loyalists. And only Tom Tugendhat just said one word answer, no, he isn't. And I think the only thing that separated the entire group of them, certainly on Friday, was that answer. Sounds like some stupid high school drama going on in the Tory party. Well, that's politics, politics never changes. Useful leaders, yep, very true. Truss will do whatever keeps her in power. Yep, exactly, she will. Cosplayers of the UK unite. Pennywise is a free spirit, difficult to control. Yeah, well, like I say, the thing is, she is so aligned with the ERG on so many of like her policies and stuff that she wants to do. But I really do think it's an issue of influence, and I think they feel that Truss is a lot more easy for them to influence than Penny Mordaunt is. Cosplay conservatives, yeah. certainly was for Truss on the Friday debate. We'll probably see if she cosplays again tonight. The whole country should be on strike. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if that happens in the not too distant future. Tahu Forever 15. As an Irish person who has British friends and family living in Britain, I honestly can't hide my anger about Brexit. It's a cancer growing on the UK. It is. And trust me, it's going to fail. It already failed pretty much on day one. So it's what we've actually got to do, ironically, is start to do what the Eurosceptics did about our time and our membership being in the EU. Just start talking non-stop about how bad Brexit is and how bad Brexit's going. And trust me, it's working. More and more people, the more polls we have about asking people like how Brexit's gone, the more and more it has increased. That people said, that Brexit not only isn't going well, that it was a bad idea. So, trust me, it's already happening. It's already happening. Yeah, Tory should have got rid of Johnson in December. Yep. Do they have more scandal on Liz? I don't know. We'll have to see. Is anyone going to watch the debate on ITV tonight at 7? I will be watching it. It'll be fun to watch. Well, I say quote fun, but the grassroots Tories still love Boris. Yes, they do. Unfortunately, there's a lot of talk about. You heard, I think it was Rees-Mogg saying that he would have no problem backing Johnson if he were to run again. I doubt the members will vote for Sunak. Lots of latent racism. They will choose someone with a good Christian name, probably. The Courier, the Daily Mail have smeared Penny Mordaunt on the front page today, claiming she really supported self-ID. And I'm here thinking, why do you guys think being trans is about you lot? Exactly. This is why I don't, or at least I don't like to get involved in like some of the culture war stuff, because honestly, like, don't get me wrong, to a lot of people out there, it's sort of really important. I've said this before, but it's not my wheelhouse, so that's why I don't get involved. And to be honest, most of it most of it, to be honest, leads to bad policy, and that's why I'm far more interested in the policies and the ideas that are being sort of thrown around more than anything. I doubt the idea of the strike. I remember Priti Patel's passed the noise law. Very true. Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, stick to economic policy. Yeah, that's my sort of wheelhouse. You know, there are other people, there are other British YouTubers out there that do a lot better job of covering that topic, certainly, than I do. I mean, I think there's like, what is it, KF Logan? I know that's sort of what he covers. He's sort of like the left's culture war, warrior stuff. So if you want that type of content, you know, go to KF Logan and, you know, tell him Bowler Hat Man sent you. So yeah, that's it really. You know, I'm far more about the sort of the policy and the politics going on in Westminster. That sort of interests me far more, and has, I think, a far more impact on people's lives. Bakura, yeah, I hate culture war stuff. Yeah, me too. It's too stupid. That's why I'm annoyed with the Daily Mail. Went with it and continue to go with it. Yep, exactly. An English folk band called Prodigy have a tune about that called Their Law. Yeah, very true. It's right-wing issues that deflect from the more serious issues. Yep, exactly. Like cost of living crisis, you know, the environmental crisis, the fact that we are heading into an education crisis. Because I'll tell you what, something that I'm surprised hasn't gotten more airtime of an issue. On news, I think it was news, question, well, not question time, yeah, question time. I think it was the most recent one as well. And I missed the one in Barnsley. I didn't even know. The thing is, I don't pay much attention to like question time as I used to, or else I would have definitely applied to go on it. That would have been quite fun. But yeah, one of the most recent issues that popped up, I think it was last week, might have been the week before, was you had an NUS leader who comes on and says, we've got a serious problem, a serious crisis in education. And it's like, not the problem that you guys are talking about. The serious, and of course, what were they talking about? Culture war issues. The serious problem is the fact that you've got teachers leaving in droves. You can't retain talent in the industry. And then you've got what, I think it was like 1% of like the physics teacher targets. And you're like, we're going to have a situation soon where you cannot get the teachers into these positions, and there just aren't enough physics teachers, there aren't enough maths teachers, there aren't enough English teachers in these positions. You know, we're sleepwalking into yet another crisis, and there's no solution being put forward to it. But then again, as we've always said, that's the current direction of the Conservative Party. They don't care about long-term policies or looking ahead or, ooh, that might be a problem. Maybe we should do something now before, you know, it becomes too much of a problem. Yeah. So ultimately, at the end of the day, we are going to end up in an education crisis. So that's another crisis to add to the list. So yeah, we've got some serious problems to sort out over here. It's, yeah. Two Not Forever. Yeah, Ireland's housing crisis. Yeah. Oh boy. You know, I often talk about how bad our housing crisis is over here, but you got your guys' housing crisis. My word. My word. I am I'm so glad I do not live in Ireland. Um, you know, buying a house over there is literally a random lottery, honestly. And I'm not joking. It literally is a random lottery sometimes. So yeah, tune out forever. Ireland's housing crisis has been this way since the 80s, when the Taoiseach, the Prime Minister, reduced the prices from buying houses. Of course, at the time, this was a good idea, but nowadays it isn't. Yep. Exactly. It was like, you know, Margaret Thatcher's right to buy. At the time, it was a good idea. But of course, rebuilding those social housing didn't really work. The money that was generated from those sales didn't go back into building social housing. And of course, it's been left very much in the hands of private developers. And of course, whenever it ends up in the hands of, you know, private companies and entities like that, of course, what do they want to do? They want to build the houses that make the most money. And it's not building mansions or anything like that. It's building 4 to 5 bedroom houses. We've got a development. Oh, you can't see it. Well, fortunately, you can't see it, but it's over there somewhere. Fortunately, it's behind the trees. A new development over there. Meant to have social housing on there. But it's not. It's all 4 to 5 bedroom houses that they can sell because that's the type of unit that makes them the most money. So that's the type of houses they build. So they don't go and build social housing, even though they are in their contracts to build this social housing. But of course, what happens? There's a clause in their contract put in, surprise, surprise, by the Conservatives that basically says you don't have to build social housing on that plot of land, even though you've said you would, if it is, quote, non-viable. So, of course, what has happened? These, you know, private companies go out, buy up the land, sit on this land for 10, 15 years or more in some cases, don't even build any housing, but obviously bought it in the first place with the promise that they would build social housing on it. And of course, they don't end up building social housing on it. So, you know, it becomes a huge problem. It really does. And of course, we've, you know, I think I've said it, since the Conservatives have come into power, they haven't had a housing minister last longer than, I think, 6 to 8 months, which sort of shows you just how bad the situation really is, that we haven't had a housing minister last that long enough to put in any policies or try and actually take a serious crack at the problem. Our President Michael D. Huggins spoke out about Ireland's housing crisis, in which the Irish president is supposed to be neutral, but I'm glad that he decided to. Someone had to. Yeah. Hi Joe, I'd love to live in Dublin, but a true house and renting, but are not cheap. Yeah, and that was the thing. Blair did help. That was obviously, you know, a very, very bad move in sort of hindsight. But at that point in time where Blair sort of did that, the housing crisis sort of hadn't peaked. And of course, it would be the 2008 financial crash where shortly after that, people sort of started to realize that we actually started to have this problem. So yeah, you are right. Blair didn't really come to help, certainly during that time. So yeah, it's definitely something that we need Keir Starmer certainly to step in and sort of do stuff with. But of course, we'll have to see on that. Oh. But of course, as always, we are at the end of today of our the extra good morning walk. Like I say, thank you for joining me. Like I say, I decided just to jump in very quickly and just do a quick live stream for today because, well, I thought, why not? It's really nice weather. It's really, really warm already. Oh, David. Oh, hang on, what was that? David, what's everyone's predictions for the final two? Me, it's Mordaunt versus Sunak. Sunak's certainly going to be in the final two, but I'm torn between. I don't know whether it's going to be between. I think it comes down to Mordaunt and Truss. That's really the decision it's going to be. And I think we'll see, certainly once Badenoch drops out. Once Badenoch drops out, we'll probably get a more clear idea as to who's going to be that final two. Will it be Truss? Will it be Mordaunt? But we can't really make that prediction until, well, Badenoch's dropped out. So once she drops out, we'll be able to see who will the final two actually be. But at the moment, I'm sort of, it's either Truss or Mordaunt. That she would have Truss for breakfast. Yeah, she would. I definitely think that Ireland and Britain should be like Germany after World War II. The German government immediately cracked down on landlords. Well, it's not just they're cracking down on landlords now. Back after World War II, they're cracking down on them now. Something really big happened in Berlin around sort of not too long ago about that. But we need a government that's willing to actually take on the landlords. Unfortunately, we don't at the moment. Mordaunt v Truss, sadly, yeah, it is. Please leave a comment. Oh yes, please do leave a comment after we've finished. But yes, yes. So thank you very much again for joining us today. Like I say, please do hit that. Pardon me. There we go. Please do hit that like and share button on your way out, and of course. The links down below to my Patreon page, the one after today's link called Buy Me Coffee, where you can, well, buy me coffee, although, to be honest, I think it's too warm for a coffee today. I'm certainly going to need something cold when I get back in, because I can already feel it getting warm already. But yes, thank you very much for joining me today on today's impromptu Good Morning Walk. Watch out for more videos. Obviously, we'll be talking about the leadership contest. Certainly in the coming days. We'll be having a live stream on Wednesday. We will probably updating you, certainly on the last two debates. Certainly, we'll be able to see by that point, I should think, who are going to be the final two. If not, we will have the final two at that point. So we'll have to see. But yes, as always, like I say, thank you very much. Like I say, like and share button, remember to hit those on your way out. And of course, down below, again, there are my wonderful links. There's the YouTube thank you button. There's the YouTube subscription button where if you subscribe to that, you get all sort of little bells and whistles. Yeah, remember to stay cool as well today, folks. You know, if you're feeling a bit warm and dizzy, find some shade or stay inside. Remember your suntan lotion. Remember to hydrate. Remember all that good stuff. And as always, if you can't be safe, be sensible. And we'll see you all next Saturday for another Good Morning Walk.